All right, so I'm finally making this video. You'll see, bear with me for the purpose of this video, but let me just go ahead and first off say that I'm making some assumptions here, and let me just disclaim some things. So first of all, I understand that an anecdotal data point does not conclude anything, nor does it provide good support to make any good arguments. But I'm still going to provide a research study, and you can research for yourself more conclusive bodies of data and research, more than just my personal experience. But this was just fun for me, so that's out of the way. And also, I understand that this test was taken just at one point in time. There's a lot of other factors that go into it, and I'm making a lot of assumptions. Anyway, let me get into it because you probably don't even understand what I'm talking about yet. So I took a testosterone test, a free testosterone test, and I'm going to put up a screenshot of the results right now. And this was actually at the end of summer, just before school had started, and I really focused on trying to get enough sleep and just try to do some sort of exercise every day and just try to be pretty healthy, but still not changing anything too crazy from my normal life, or my normal routine. But yeah, so I did it, and these are the results. And as you know, I'm vegan, so what a surprise. My free testosterone levels are not in the toilet, as a lot of people, probably a lot of men, would assume to be. And that's what the point of this video is going to be. The point of this video is addressing this stereotype and misconception that men who choose to eat a plant-based diet, vegan men, who are not consuming animal products, probably specifically meat, there's a stereotype or misconception that they have very low testosterone levels. Because we don't understand, a lot of people don't understand dietary science, real dietary science, and they're fed a lot of lies or a lot of common things that are not really proven by actual science. I think a lot of men believe that you have to eat meat to produce healthy levels of testosterone, whenever you want to build muscle, whenever you want to be athletic, be healthy and vibrant and just manly, because that's the thing too. We see testosterone as a masculine hormone, a manly hormone, and testosterone is also present in women too. I actually know like a friend who, whenever I was talking about testosterone in women, he was surprised that I even said that, because he thought, oh, women don't have testosterone, that's a men thing. And I was really surprised that he actually believed that, but I guess that's just like a social cultural thing. We become so diluted that a lot of us think that testosterone is only present in men and estrogen is only present in women. But no, both hormones are present in both sexes, just in varying amounts. Obviously, men have higher testosterone concentrations on average, and women have higher concentrations of estrogen on average. And that's what causes the physical differences between us in terms of our body and behavior too, and psychology. To what degree, I think some people are confused. Probably not as much as a lot would assume. It's actually really interesting. It's a good way to understand the difference between sexes. There's a really good way to understand the difference. It's not that the average man isn't that different from the average woman. Actually, I'm not going to talk about that now because that gets a little bit complicated, but I'm thinking about a statistical distribution, and there's a lot of overlap between a lot of the characteristics between men and women, but the extremes, the polarity, whenever you start going to the extremes of certain characteristics, like say, for example, musculature or aggression, different characteristics like this, you will find that at the poles, it's very heavily one sex or the other, very much men or very much women. Anyway, that's somewhat related to this video, but not entirely. But that's, I think, a good thing to mention. So yeah, there's this misconception that you have to eat animal products to have a healthy testosterone level as a man. And as you can see, and I know this is just an anecdotal data point, just my test doesn't prove anything. But it's just a way for me to introduce this topic. And I'm curious about myself too. I'll get into that more later. Where to start? Yes, so there's a big misconception that you need the cholesterol, dietary cholesterol in meat to produce healthy testosterone levels. And also that foods like soybeans, they contain estrogens that reduce your testosterone levels. And if you eat a lot of soy or something, you're going to have lower estrogen levels. And that was a big misconception for a long time until the scientific community found that soybeans contain phytoestrogens. Phytoestrogens do not function in the human body in the same way that real estrogen does. And guess what foods contain real animal estrogen, real mammalian estrogen? Dairy, like milk. That contains real estrogen that functions in a very similar way to the estrogen produced by our own body. So that's kind of funny that they said that soy contains estrogen and it reduces your testosterone levels. So now I'm going to put up two graphs. So I'm referencing a study now. So now I'm referencing an actual study. This was a study by the Endocrine Society, I believe. I think it's like NCBMI, a reputable medical source. I'm going to put the link in the description, but I'm going to put up two figures now from the study so you don't have to go and sift through it because it's complicated, right? It takes some time to sit there and read it and really understand everything that goes into it. So I'm just going to summarize things and I'm going to put up two figures now for you to look at. So this was a study in the early 2000s with the actual data in the figure is about 500 men, but it looked at 2,000 men between 19 and 40, I believe, and they are free from a lot of different conditions like obesity, cancer, a lot of other conditions that I don't even really know about, but the point was to find a group of healthy men, right? A group of healthy young men. And I think what the actual figure there represents was 500. That's the sample size. And you can see different statistical values for that sample size. You can see the mean, median, all that stuff. So basically, I used that to because I wanted to, understand my result a little bit better beyond whatever they just posted on that website, the test that I took. Also another disclaimer about this study. They used a method of collecting the data that is different than the test that I took. They used spectrometry. It's like a 5-word testing thing. I have no idea what the hell it is, but it's a different form of collecting the data than I did. Obviously, I don't have the money to do something even like a blood test. I didn't do a blood test. I did a saliva test. It was about $25. You can do it too if you want. You can see the website on that screenshot that I posted of my test if you're interested in trying it yourself. But yeah, I took a saliva test, but I'm still going to compare and I'm going to assume that the difference between these things is not that much. And maybe that assumption is really foolish, but it is what it is because I have no idea. I'm not an expert in the field. So I'm going to make the assumption and just assume. And I acknowledge that it's, this video is, the actual main point of this message I know is very solid and credible, but some of the specifics I know there's a high margin for inaccuracy, and that's just because I'm not well versed and it gets complicated within these things. But I know this can be a good video with the main points that I'm bringing together in the message. So that's my point. And I know that the title, I have a really funny idea for the title, so I want to make a video for that reason as well. And just also to display my interests too, because I think I'll explain that more at the end of the video. This is highly related to my interests. One of my interests in life, and definitely whenever I was younger, like just getting into health and fitness, close to whenever I became vegan, around 16, whenever I was 16, about over 5 years ago. These are the things, 15, 16, these are the things that I was really interested in. really interested in health and fitness, my own body, and a lot of the times I've used myself as like an experiment, just a way to learn about things. I'm not a big textbook person, as you could probably tell. I really like to see things for myself, and using my own body as a gateway to learn is definitely something I really enjoy, and I think it really enriches me in different ways. Yeah, somewhat learning by experience, but also in a different way. Anyway, yeah, so I put up the two figures now, and as you can see, so I'm gonna look at the mean value, and I'm going to look at the quartile difference, I believe. And so I'm gonna try to keep this as simple as possible. I'm not gonna try to get too complicated because I'm not even that good at statistics either. I still actually have to take foundation of statistics to complete my major, a basic level statistics class to complete my degree. So I haven't even done that yet. So I'm gonna keep it simple for the sake of all of us, because that's not the point of this video, to learn statistics. But so the quartile difference is basically the variance in picograms per milliliter, I believe that's the unit, between the 25th percentile and the 75th percentile. So that's the middle chunk of the data. That's the variance in the amount of picograms per milliliter. And so I'm going to use that and the mean picograms per milliliter to kind of analyze I wanted to figure out what percentile my test result would have been in this study. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. So as you saw, I believe I got 158 picograms per milliliter, and the mean in that study was 141, I believe, picograms per milliliter, and the quartile difference there was 60. So 60 is the difference between the 25th and 75th percentile. So I know I'm above the mean. I know I'm above the 50th percentile. And I believe the 50th percentile is the mean, unless I'm really making an error in my understanding of statistics. I'm making a fundamental error. Again, a lot of room for error in this one. It's just me trying to make this video, all right? Anyway, yeah, so we're going to say then we're going to go from the 50th percentile, and then if you split that quartile difference in half, it's going to be 30 picograms per milliliter. So I'm going to use that range above the 50th percentile mark, which is 141 picograms per milliliter. And I'm going to say, okay, 30 picograms per milliliter above that, so about 171. That's going to be the 75th percentile, okay? That's what I used to kind of analyze it. And so mine was 158 picograms per milliliter, right? So I'm estimating my test result is between the 60th and 70th percentile in this study of 456 men. And then now the second figure, okay, so a big thing with testosterone, a big important thing to keep in mind and consider is that age is extremely important, because almost always testosterone naturally decreases with age. It's just it's a gradual decline. So it's only fair to compare my result with those in the same age bracket as me, because I'm 20. It's only going down from here. It's only going down from here, probably. This is about my peak, maybe a little less. So I wanted to look at my age group of 20 to 29, and that's what this second figure is useful for. So if you look, it shows, I forgot what this type of plot is called, but it shows the average there and the standard deviation bars. And the average is right about 150, just looking at it visually at the figure. And so mine was 158, so it's slightly above that even. So I'm still slightly above average even for the 20 to 29 age group. So you can see, I'm still slightly above average with all these assumptions and disclaimers and everything. I'm above average for my free testosterone levels. Okay, hopefully, now that I'm thinking about it, a decent amount of background information is needed to understand these things. What is free testosterone? What is total testosterone? Free testosterone is more reliable in analyzing health and athletic impacts because it's what's actually circulating around in your blood, and total testosterone isn't always released. But this video is gonna be too long if I go into that, or even what testosterone is and what functions it provides. I'm assuming a basic background level of information as you watch this video. I think it's a pretty common thing to understand. So anyway, so yes, there's that. Yeah, that's really, the point of this video. You can see, I'm healthy. I've been vegan for over 5 years now. I was 30 pounds smaller. I was shorter. I am now 5'10". Maybe I might be 6 foot. I was 5'10" like 2 years ago. I don't know if I've grown taller. My dad's 5'6". My mom's 5'4". So I'm not genetically predispositioned to be tall, but I'm average height or slightly above average. Average weight, and definitely I have more muscle than what the average male would have and less fat, just from doing sports and also eating a diet that is going to predispose you to being lean and healthy. And I gained, like I said, over 5 years I've been on this diet, and I've gained all of my muscle. I went through puberty. I did everything, became a man physically, on a vegan diet. My testosterone levels are slightly above average, very healthy. And yes, like I said, this is just an anecdote, so let me provide something a little bit more credible and substantial. Now I'm going to the second link in my bio, not my bio, it's not fucking Instagram. The second link in the description of this video is going to be a research study by Cambridge, looking at serum testosterone levels of vegan men, and I think they also looked at non-vegan men to compare them to. Like I said, there's a lot to look. I'm not complaining to understand these studies 110%. I just tried to look at them enough to make this video, okay? Let me make that clear. So I know a lot of you intellectuals could rip me a new one if you really looked at those things. Well, hopefully I'm covering the holes up in my video decently well. Anyway, they actually found that there was small but significant differences. You can just read the abstract of this study. I did read a little bit more than the abstract of this study in preparation for this video, but the abstract was the main thing that got in me, be honest. But you can look at the abstract of this study, and they found that there was small but significant increases in, I think it was free testosterone. I don't think it was total testosterone. It might be total testosterone, but it was a testosterone measurement that was slightly higher in vegan men, actually. But the impact of this was deemed to not be significant because, basically, in summary, there's a lot more medical and scientific words, but for us to understand, basically, in summary, it's not a big difference because your body regulates hormones so well. If you're producing a little bit too much, because that's the thing too, you have to understand too much testosterone is not good. Too much testosterone is not good. There's problems with that. Hypogonadism, I believe that's a condition. Prostate cancer, balding, a lot of organ problems. I'm really thinking about testosterone abuse, like doping and stuff in sports. There's a lot of problems with that. Terrible for you. So your body is good at regulating. There's a range, right? A healthy range. Your body is good at regulating a healthy range for you to have. And a lot of women over there. That's the thing too. Being around a lot of women actually has shown increases in testosterone levels. So that's a part of it too. That's funny. It's like 30 women over there. Just women. Anyway. Where was I? This is important. So. Sorry, excuse me. Your body, so the results of this study, it was found to not be important because your body basically elicited a response to counteract that slightly higher increase. It wasn't significant in helping with athletic performance or anything because your body just regulated it out. So the main conclusion so far in our scientific literature is that vegan men and men who eat animal products have about effectively the same levels of testosterone. Possibly vegan men have slightly higher. And there's possible reasons for this, possible dietary mechanisms for this, that you can explore in that study in the actual PDF. See, I did fucking read more than the abstract of that study, okay? I did. Possible dietary mechanisms include, okay, if you're vegan, you're going to be eating a lot more plants. Well, you are eating plants, obviously, and that's a lot more dietary fiber. So you're going to excrete a lot of steroids, I believe it was called. And specifically, I don't really understand this, but you excrete a lot more of steroids like estrogen, I believe, and it's not reabsorbed into your body, which whenever you have stool sitting in your body for a long time, those hormones are reabsorbed into your body, and that ultimately decreases your testosterone levels. So eating a diet high in fiber and excreting feces more efficiently, more often, is better for your testosterone levels. In theory, that's what the theory is. And like I mentioned before, another theory was drinking cow's milk. Like, it literally contains actual animal estrogen, not phytoestrogens like soy does. And so we would think that that also functions in a similar way in our bodies. And here's another theory that I just kind of came up with. Okay, we know that men with higher levels of body fat, men with higher levels of adipose tissue, I think adipose tissue is just another word for body fat, they tend to have lower levels of testosterone than men who are leaner, because excess body fat produces estrogen. And obviously we know that excess estrogen competes with testosterone levels and ultimately decreases testosterone levels. So if you eat animal products, which are more calorically dense, and chances are you are going to have more body fat than someone who is not eating animal products, then that is also going to decrease your testosterone levels. And so obviously this would not apply to men that eat animal products who are very lean. And I know a lot of them my age, because, at this age it's easier to do that, to eat animal products or just a lot of food in general and still be healthy. But that will definitely bite you in the ass later. Physically, eventually you'll start gaining weight as your metabolism changes. And I'm sure the damages to your blood work are already being done right now. Even though you're 20 or whatever, the damages to your blood work are probably already being done. And I think I've seen that in medical literature. But the effects of those will show up later, just because, you have a young body and it doesn't affect you like that in that way until later. The number one causes of death for us at this age group are unfortunately suicide and car crashes. But for Americans, the number one cause of death, as you in the higher age groups, is cancer, diabetes, heart disease. Cancer is related to diet. So that speaks for itself. Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to talk about this. I think this was a big part. Whenever I started talking about veganism, I think it was very important for me to talk about being a man also and choosing plant-based eating. Oh, I was going to make this joke. I planned out this joke, actually. I was going to say that it's funny that a lot of the people that I know that eat plant-based diets, that are vegan or vegetarian, personally, a lot of them that I know, they're mostly women. They're mostly girls. And I guess that really shows that men are stupid. Yeah, I guess I'm not laughing that much now because I thought of that joke a while ago. And as you can see, I just remembered it. But yeah, honestly, in my personal experience, a lot of the people that I know that do eat plant-based are women or girls. For some reason, because of these misconceptions we have about how animal product consumption or the absence of animal product consumption affects things like athletics, muscle growth. I know obviously, a lot of guys are interested in building muscle, and testosterone production. So I wanted to touch on those, what actual science says about those things, and tackle the misconceptions about veganism is bad for your testosterone levels, it's bad for your muscle growth. Maybe I have to make a video about the protein thing. Oh my god, the protein thing is so stupid. So stupid. But we'll leave that for now. But yeah, I wanted to tackle those things. And so I think that's why, I'm sure if, there's probably studies out there that survey a population and they find that a larger percentage of women are eating plant-based than men. And that's really unfortunate. It shows how fucking stupid a lot of men are, because it's just stupid in so many ways to eat animal products thinking that you're making smart decisions in terms of diet, environment, and animal ethics. That's what's stupid. If you have the awareness that this is not the most intelligent way to eat, but I am doing this because it's hard to eat plant-based a lot of the times, it's socially difficult, culturally difficult, fine. You have the awareness. You are understanding things. But if you think you're doing the right thing and you're not, then there's a problem. So yeah, I wanted to touch on that. And I think also, yes, I wanted to end with also this social concept of eating meat is manly. I think that's also part of it, right? We have this idea like, a father always goes out to grill a steak, and that's like a manly thing to do, and he takes his son with him, and men eat steak and pork, and they're farmers and they shoot and kill animals and eat meat, and it's just a very manly thing to do to eat meat, right? So that's also part of it. No, that's just a social thing. It's stupid to eat meat, like health-wise. So it's gonna make you fat and sick and unhealthy. You're more likely to be. So I just wanted to touch on that too. I think that's also a reason why we see so many more women choosing plant-based eating instead of men. So it's time for us to speak out about these things and to challenge these ideas so we can get more men to eat more plant-based. That's why I'm making this video. That's the point of this video. It's not to show some sort of significance in my test result, because I know there's not any significance in my test result, really, any deep significance. Really, it's reassuring, I guess, that I'm healthy, even though I feel healthy, and I would not have taken this test for any other reason than just being curious and for this video. But the point of this video, like I said, I just want to reiterate it again, is to challenge this idea and to take away these stereotypes and to get more men on plant-based eating. I think that's really important. Going forward into the future, it's really, really important that we challenge these things. So the other side of it, the more personal side, not really related to the main purpose of this video, is that I did this too just because I'm curious. Like I said, for many, many years, even with meditation, I've always treated myself like an experiment. I really am a scientist at heart, I like reading about things and learning things in school, like related to physics or health, but my biggest curiosity is whenever I see it myself in my own life, and I can experiment and test things myself, especially with my own body or, just myself in general. That's what I really like. So that's a big reason too. I was just curious, what my test result would be. So that's also why I wanted to do it. And actually, I wanted to, to make it a little bit more, to just get a little bit more out of it, I wanted to do another test result. And like I said, I did that at the end of summer. So that was months ago, right? And I ordered another test to do 1 month later. And I still have that test sitting in the mailroom. I didn't even pick it up yet because I haven't gotten to it, just been busy. So I want to do one more test, and I'm curious to see what my test results are, because I want to see what the impacts of stress academic stress, stress related to people, or just other factors in my life that have changed since then. What the impact of that is on my testosterone level, how much I'm exercising is different. Just, I want to see how those different factors that have changed impact my next result. I'm only doing one more. So I might make another video on that, just to show what the second result is, and just to maybe speculate on why it's different, why it's higher or why it's lower. One reason why I speculated it could be higher is being around a lot more women that are my age, you know? I mean, it's just shown to increase those levels. There's a lot of other factors like that. Even like winning a sports game is shown to increase testosterone levels, or if you lose, it decreases it. So I find those things really interesting. And especially in myself, and seeing how those factors affect my health. And especially, I mean, the most important thing is how I feel, right? How I feel physically, my health physically. And of course, I'm doing fine, completely fine. I'm blessed, thankfully, in terms of my physical health. So that's great. That's the most important thing. But yeah, just a way for me to explore my curiosity with health and science. And I've always found hormones really interesting in the human body. So yeah, and obviously, you know, veganism. So yeah, I'm very happy to make this video. I think I hope it was a good video. I hope you found it to be a good video. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, ask me what it feel like, staring at the sky so vanilla, telling Kurt Russell, homie, this ain't real life. I'll be making good on my promises, honesty is confidence, a lot of it is missing, but I realize I could be better than I was, lighter on my feet, cooking up the soul when we fire up the beat, let the fire underneath me, higher when I speak like I'm climbing up a steep tree, ooh, coming